Well, Tambo Teddies, it's been in operation for 27 years. My business partner, Tammy, and myself, we've owned it for 6 years. So essentially, we create sheepskin teddy bears. They're cut out and sewn from Australian sheepskins. Originally, they were stuffed with wool, but that became a bit cost prohibitive. And so now they're actually stuffed with recycled plastic. So the range has extended a little bit over the years there's a couple of different families of teddy bears. There's fully dressed stockmen, there's koalas, we have a possum, echidnas, and we do also just sell baby sheepies and therapeutic sheepskins. So all about wool. 950 kilometres west of Brisbane, and that's where the business started. The Tambo these days has about 350, 370 people, so very small. We're part of the Blackall Tambo Regional Council area now, which is still only 2,000 people. Tammy and I both live in town, so that's not a problem for us, but we have now we started last year, we started a regional sewing hub, and that's based in Toowoomba. So we've got four and a half sewers down there and another lady who oversees it. So that's 8 hours, a good 8 hours from Tambo. When it was started, there was drought and there were the crashed wool prices. That was around the time of the big wool stockpile that absolutely plummeted the wool prices. So the government actually came through all these communities holding workshops, and I actually did attend the workshop. There was a 2-day workshop. There were about 80 people or so from the community at the town hall, and the whole idea was to come up with ideas and for new economic development, new businesses, ways to employ, to try and get these small towns thriving again. And that's where 3 ladies, I think it was 5 originally, came up with the idea of the sheepskin teddy bears. I was a wool classer for 20-something years. We lived out of town for a long time until the kids were little, and then we moved into town. My husband was a fencing yard building contractor, and I was wool classing, so we were both sort of juggling things a lot and away and juggling children. And then, it came along when they were at boarding school, and I took a job in town then on the local council. And then a few years after that, when the Teddies came up for sale, Kira Lee, who was with us, she was the one who approached Tammy and I to buy, that we should think about buying it. So the business then, after these 3 ladies, after the workshop, it went along, had an initial boom like businesses do. And after about 4 or 5 years, there was only 1 lady left in the business. And she then operated it on her own and with fewer and fewer employees, So it sort of it had gone up and then it really plateaued, and it was very much on a downward slope when we bought it. When we bought the business, we were very starry-eyed. It was just, we're going global. That was our catchphrase, and we'd have hysterics and think this was just great. So initially, our main aim was to get digital, to get online, and the whole thing was you can't be reliant on just your passing traffic or your local market in these communities. So that was our main goal straight away, was to get a really good website and get a digital strategy happening, driving traffic to our website. We did this, we've done that. We actually, 2015, we turned it around so much in the first year or two that in 2015 we won the Google and Regional Australia Heroes online heroes competition. So I actually went to Sydney to a masterclass, and there were 10 semi-finalists all there, and then we were actually announced as the overall winner. So that was a bit mind-boggling. As we've gone on, we've sort of, production has been our issue. Yes, we've got our channels. Yes, we've got great publicity, great marketing, but we've got the demand. We're building the demand. Supply was our issue. So Tammy and I went to China, not to look at getting teddies made there, because Tambo Teddies need to be made in Australia, and that's one of our key key marketing initiatives is that we are Australian made. That's what people love about them. But our sheepskins have always come from China. They're Australian sheepskins. They get sent over there, tanned and dyed, and come back. So we went over there on a tour. We went to the Canton Trade Fair, and we bought a lot of our imports directly ourselves. So we are now importing rather than going through a distributor. So that totally, cuts down our cost of production and can make our business more viable and profitable. The other barrier with supply is the actual production of making the bears. And we just couldn't get enough people here in Tambo to sew. We had a workshop where we put it out, and we had people come from the wider region. We had one girl come all the way from Toowoomba. And from that, we sent, I think, 3 machines went off, and 2 of them came back. And the one in Toowoomba, she was our saving grace one year. But of course, logistically, it's a flawed business model, having machines all over the place, because you've got to get supplies to them. So that's where we came up with the idea of starting a regional sewing hub. And so we settled on Toowoomba, and we partnered with Multicultural Development Australia to source workers, and we employ resettled migrants, refugees. And of course, for them, they need a job. They don't have a lot of English, but they have the skills we need to sew. So they're just lovely, and they're so excited and so delighted to be part of our business. And it's for them, it's great that they feel valued. For us, it's just and that's really heartwarming too, that they really love having the job. That was in January 2019. We went down and set it up. We have 4 sewers in the hub. We have 1 sewer who sews from home in Toowoomba, and that is actually Bonnie's aunt. And Bonnie, who was the one who took the machine home from Toowoomba, she oversees the hub. And so she organises who gets what to sew, and keeps amazing spreadsheets of everything. She's just been an absolute gem and fine, and she's forward thinking. Well, 2 of them are guys, are men, and they're from Syria, and there's 1 girl from Eritrea.
Fantastic.
And the other lady was originally from Charleville. Yeah, it's really enriching, getting to know about their culture and their background too. That happens from Tambo at this stage. We also do some from Toowoomba, like when orders come in and we haven't got it in stock here, it's sitting down in Toowoomba, so we do post out from there. We do everything by mail. It's all Australia Post, because that's where we are. It is a challenge, and we're always trying to better the system. Australia Post cube your parcels, so they get a weight on volume, which, it might only weigh, 500 grams, but when you cube it, it says it's 8 kilograms. And that's what you have to pay the postage on. So to get around this, and this was an initiative of the previous owners, we actually have these gorgeous hexagonal boxes that they can't cube. So we do have a good rate for our boxes. However, when we're sending out wholesale orders, larger orders to stockists, they're much bigger boxes, and that's a bit of an issue. So we're looking for an alternative transport system for them, and probably, if we can go from metropolitan area, even if it's a regional one such as Toowoomba, we might be able to make some savings sending out our wholesale orders. And that's savings for a wholesaler, and that makes it more attractive for them to stock our products. Look, it's part of our story. So it's part of the whole background. It underpins our product, and it underpins what we're about. So it is a bonus to us. I mean, it comes with its issues, like anything living out here does, but the benefits outweigh the negatives. We don't have the NBN. We're too small for NBN. So we do have access to satellite, but I don't think we'd touch it with a barge pole because I've heard that it won't run an FPOS very well. And any of my friends on rural properties who have it, they still have their big pond accounts as well because their satellite runs out of data too quickly, and we've got free Wi-Fi in our shop from our internet. It's all good, except for our point of sale system. It's really slow, and it's embarrassing because you're standing there with a customer and you're trying to get it to come up, and you can count to 13 by the time it actually loads the page for you. Yes, you get a lot of very inventive with your chatter and your conversation. Facebook is one of our strongest platforms, largest platforms, and that's very much to do with the age of our market. They're Facebook users. Yes, we use Instagram, and we're working at the moment with a couple of reps to start trying to grow that market because we feel there's a sort of a mummy market out there suitable for our products that we can reach via Instagram. We've had a few sales via Instagram, so that's sort of, we need to grow our platform there. Twitter, I have joined Twitter for us. I share our monthly e-news on it. That's about all at this stage. We've been advised that that's the platform we'll be using when we want to get into the UK market. Blogs on the website, we do those twice a month. We have a large e-news network distribution, and that goes out monthly, unless we've got a special we hit them mid-month with. Very strong driving sales, your blogs are. You always notice as soon as and your e-news, as soon as you send out an e-news, there's sales coming in straight away. So they're our main digital channels, and of course our website. Our website is never a set and forget. You've got to always be constantly making sure everything's going on there and everything you're doing is pointing towards it. Not that I've noticed. So that's the best way to say it. We're often contacted by the media for a comment and things, anything to do with business and small business. Well, I'm actually a Kiwi, so and my husband's parents are both passed away, and my father passed away before we bought the business. So I just have my mother left in New Zealand. And then there's, Tammy with her. She's younger than me, and she's just having her family, so she's actually expecting her third child at the moment. So that's a juggle for her with the little kids. Both of my daughters at times have helped us out with the business. Our families and our husbands are very supportive, which is great. The Queensland government gave them one, and also they gave William and Kate one. So that's what we say, that they're sitting over there in Buckingham Palace. They go all over the world. We've sent them to, quite a lot goes to the UK, US, Canada. We very much manage positive communications. We don't get political. We support different causes that, like with drought and things, we most certainly have supported drought appeal, the Flying Doctor and things like that, because we support things that do impact our region, and we can use our business to say, we know that people out here are hurting. We know this is how our business began. And this is, so telling those stories, we do, yes, definitely. That's an interesting space, an interesting question, Penny, because in my day job at council, part of my role is economic development. And so for the past, I don't know how many years, I've been championing getting grants and getting people here delivering digital workshops and digital training. And of course, our business participates. We've participated in a lot of training like that through the Tourism Association as well, which is great. I'll always do any training I can, no matter what level of competency you're at. I feel you can learn more. But what I have discovered most recently, we had, and that was only last week, I think, we had the Buy from the Bush Queensland people through, and they were doing a workshop, and they're doing basic digital stuff with people. And so many of my local community sort of said to me afterwards, "Oh, that was the best one we've ever been to. It was really at our level. It was, you know," and so people, and they're telling me that they go along to these workshops, and then I'm getting frustrated thinking, why aren't people doing these things? Why aren't they using all these tools we've been showing them? And it's really, they go away, they're all enthused, but then they get into their own home, and then a week later when they get around to it, they go, "Oh, how does that work? I can't remember." I really believe businesses all up and down our main street, if they're not in the digital space, they're not in the game. You can't just sit in your shop and wait for people to come past your door. You've got to be, and I've said this to people up in the communities when they say, "Oh, people buy online, they sit in their living room and buy online," and go, "Well, that's where you need to be." You need to be when they're flicking through their phone at night in front of the TV. You need to pop up. And I said, basically that's what we do, and that's digital marketing. That's where we're aiming to be, is popping up in people's faces all the time. And we back that up with other stuff, like we have television advertising that goes out across Australia, and that's been very we've even though it's hard to measure, it certainly has a great impact, because it's just that reminding, that that constant re-emphasizing that you're there. It's called imprinting or something, I think. Yeah, so that really works for us, and we know that from because we get a lot of phone orders, again, because of the age group of our market. Aren't as digitally competent, and so we get a lot of phone calls. Like I had one yesterday, and when I sort of just said to the lady, "Oh yes, and you're a new customer, yes, and where did you hear about us?" And she said, "I saw a TV ad late at night one night." and she was buying, and I just really thought, "Oh, I want to buy one of those because they're Australian made." Yeah. And and anything I can do that's helping someone in the bush, all these lovely things. So those parts of your story are very strong with your marketing. I do think so. I think people are becoming more and more conscious of the bush and the need to support the bush. Yes. It's just a matter of keeping working at it and doing a lot of research. I'm always, you sit there at night and you're not just scrolling through your social media looking for a laugh or to see what people are eating for dinner. I'm, I'm looking for things about wool, for sheep, for teddy bears. I'm looking for content. I'm looking for ideas. I'm looking at how other businesses are promoting their products, what they're saying, what's going well, so that I can utilise and blend and replicate some of those ideas, because ultimately to drive sales to our website. So, yeah, you've just always got to be on your game, really. Instagram's an interesting place with all the hashtags. We're doing a lot of hashtag research at the moment, because we're focusing on growing it. So now they're sort of saying with Instagram, they like to be mini blogs. You've got to write a bit of lovely stuff and then do your stories daily. So that's the strategy we're now taking. We're doing two or three blogs a week, or mini blogs, and then we're trying to do stories all the time. So I think it's starting to work. And as you say, it's about one, sort of thinking about what to do and then having the confidence to go out and do it. So probably to start by using your social networks and finding someone there who just might have a bit of an idea how to help. It's what people have always said, it's who you know, isn't it, sometimes? So it's just a matter of talking and communicating with people and just finding out you'll find someone.